Welcome to Green Gaming. I'm Jason, the creator of the Army Showcase and host of the Tabletop Battlefield podcast over at www.tabletopbattlefield.com. And if you've never seen this show before, the goal is to take trash you would probably just throw away and, well, make something cool for your miniature war game battlefield. What we're going to do today is we're actually going to build some low walls. Now, I've done something similar to this back, I think it was episode 3 of this year, so episode 3, season 3 of the Tabletop Battlefield podcast. But do a little bit different to kind of expand on a little bit and make the whole project a little bit larger. So what you're going to require, we got an empty cereal box here. I chose a larger one just because the basic size of the cereal box is going to determine the size of the wall. We've got a hot glue sitting over here, hot glue gun. We've got empty plastic sprues, the little plastic things that come with basically every GW figure, and you got to punch them all out and assemble everything together. And for this case, I'm building this wall to scale for Warhammer 40,000, but the same technique can be applied to just about any game of any scale. So let's get started here. Now, basically the base of the wall is going to run along the length of the cereal box. So you want to go ahead and cut out one of the large sides of the cereal box. Okay. Now, to determine the height of the wall, take the figure you want to be guarding the wall. In this case, I got one of my Tau Empire Fire Warriors. Set them down at the base of the wall, and then using a marker or a pen of some sort, trace the height of the wall along the length of the box. Now, what you're going to want to do is make some parts of the wall higher than the figure and some parts of the wall lower than the figure. So you can have areas where they kind of have full cover and areas where they're standing out with their guns firing at people. Let me hold up my finished section here. You can see I've just traced it out and all kind of jaggedy, because obviously we're making a ruined wall, or depending if you want to make a ruined wall or not. If you do, make it kind of jagged so it looks like it got blasted to bits. Now go ahead and cut this thing out as best you can. There we go. Oh, now let's try this side. You can see now I've got the whole side of the wall finished. Now it's time to build the second side of the wall. What you want to do is go to the other side of the box. Well, not the other side, but like you cut out the wall from the top the right side of the box essentially, and now you're going to the left side, I guess you can say, and trace the wall exactly as it appears, because you want to get the other side of the wall to be nearly the same shape. It doesn't have to be exactly the same shape, but you want it to be nearly the same shape. There you go, about the same shape. Let's go ahead and cut this one out now. Now to hold these up together, they're nearly identical, not perfect, but they're pretty good enough for this project anyway. Now I don't want a simple straight wall. I want to actually bend it a few points. So let's hold these two halves together, and we're going to actually fold it and say, in this case, we'll fold it at 2 different points. So let's go ahead and fold it once here. It's kind of arbitrary where I'm choosing. I'm just kind of doing what looks cool. So we'll fold it once there, and we'll fold in the opposite direction a little further down here. Now if I go ahead and I hold this thing up to the camera, you can see it's got some bends to it, so it looks kind of a crooked S kind of shape. Let it sit down. Now I want to go ahead and make the base, what's going to end up becoming the base. So what you want to do, separate the two pieces. This is where the plastic sprues are going to come in. Get onto safety goggles, and you're going to cut about little pieces of plastic sprue about 2 or 3 inches long. So you're going to run one along each section of the wall which is bent. So I got 3 sections of the wall. We're going to run one plastic sprue here, one here, and one over here. Now using hot glue, go ahead and glue these sprues along the base of the wall. Also, be careful not to glue the wall to your table. That's not something you want to do either. Now if you've done things right, you should have something that looks kind of like this, where you can see you got a little piece of plastic sprue there, one along this section, and one more along this section. Now while this section is drying, you go ahead and you put it off to the side. We're going to go ahead and create the effect of steel rebar or steel beams that were in the wall. And we're going to do that again with the plastic sprues. So now cut several more pieces of plastic sprue. You want them to be maybe about 1 inch to maybe 2 inches taller than the section of the wall they're going to be attached to. And you want to make them variable length to kind of give the effect that the whole wall was blasted apart, so there's little bits of steel still sticking out. Let me gather these up here. Hold them over the camera. You can see now I've got a bunch of little pieces of the plastic sprue ready to be attached to the wall, kind of give the effect of rebar and things like that. Now glue these pieces of the sprue down vertically to the wall and spread them out about equally along the length. Let me hold this thing up here, and now you can see you've got a bunch of little pieces of these plastic sprue sticking above the wall. Look from the front side of the wall. It kind of looks like you got a nice jagged wall with a few little rebar things sticking out of it. Now we got to attach the two halves of the wall together. So go ahead, take the other half, line up the way it should be. It should be like that. That works. Now go ahead and apply some glue to the inside of all the plastic sprues, and then stick the other half of the wall on. That's looking decently well at the moment. You can see there now I've got both sides of the wall attached, the little bits of steel rebar sticking out, and there we go. Now the last thing we're going to do is create a base for the wall and add some debris around it. Taking the other sheet, or what's left of the side of the cereal box, place the wall down on it, and now using a pen, trace out a base for the wall. Make it about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch stick out from either side of the wall. And you can kind of obviously make the base adapt to the way that the wall bends and curves. And go ahead and cut it out, and we'll go ahead and glue this thing down. There we go, got the shape of the base. Take your wall, flip it over, apply some hot glue to the sprues that are on the bottom, and then stick it down in the base. Now while that's drying, here's the beauty of actually building destroyed stuff. If parts of the base don't stick down right, or the wall is bent, or something doesn't look quite right, hey, it took a freaking tank shell to the wall. It's not going to be standing straight. That's the beauty of building these destroyed things. They can look crappy and still make sense and look good in the context of how they're supposed to be. So that's why here, the wall is leaning a little bit. It's not quite stuck down. Don't worry, it's a blowing up wall. The last thing we're going to do is add some debris to the base to make it look like there's little bits of chunks laying around. Now what you're going to do, get your safety goggles back on, and so for the final construction step, go ahead and cut some more pieces of sprue out, but this time cut them really small to where they're maybe at most 3/8 of an inch long. They don't have to be nice and neat. I mean, chances are if you've been trimming the sprues down as you've cut the earlier ones, you've probably got a pile of it already going. Just go ahead, cut some more out, and then we'll glue them down to the base as battle debris. There you go. There's one side of the wall. There's the other side. You can see the white glue holding the little bits down. With that, the construction is done. Of course, the last step is to go ahead and paint this wall up. I mean, I would probably paint this a gray cinder block and put some little black paint along the top and make it like the whole thing's been ruined and destroyed. But you want to paint it to match your cityscape, however that may be. So with that, let's call this episode of Green Gaming done. Once again, I'm Jace, and thanks for watching. For more information on the world of miniature wargaming, or to submit your own content and show off the projects you've created, check out the Army Showcase and Tabletop Battlefield podcast over at www.tabletopbattlefield.com. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next episode of Green Gaming.